Yumi-ri was radiant as she headed to collect her custom-made wedding ring, completely unaware that her fiancé, Kim Woo-ju, was entangled in a tawdry affair with another woman right inside their jointly decorated bridal suite. After securing the ring and finalizing their honeymoon bookings, Yumi-ri messaged Kim Woo-ju, hoping for a dinner date that evening. Kim Woo-ju, mid-kiss with his mistress, quickly responded with a lie. He was still at work. The following day, while settling into their new home and speaking with her mother, Yumi-ri voiced her frustration over the wedding's excessive cost, feeling the money would be better allocated to the new house. Her mother, embodying a rare old-fashioned ideal of a good wife and mother, gently cautioned Yumi-ri against complaining about her fiancé not covering the full rent, urging her to be understanding and avoid embarrassing him. A sudden sharp feeling of unease hit Yumi-ri as her foot landed on a woman's earring. After hanging up, she found a long, foreign hair on the bed. Kim Woo-ju had already moved into the bridal suite alone while Yumi-ri was still at her old place, a clear sign of infidelity. Yumi-ri confronted him with the earring, demanding an explanation. She uncovers a hidden social media account for Sweet Jenny 97. He smoothly fabricated a story. It belonged to a female colleague who'd supposedly left it during a company visit to the suite. Yumi-ri wasn't fooled. She immediately checked his colleague's social media accounts. They were all busy with individual activities on the day of the supposed team building, strongly suggesting Kim Woo-ju had, in fact, been on a private date with the woman. A damning photo confirmed her suspicion. The colleague was wearing that exact earring. Cornered, and with Yumi-ri threatening to expose him at his company, a terrified Kim Woo-ju confessed. Yet, he shamelessly attempted to justify his actions. In a feigned act of contrition, he slapped himself and reminded Yumi-ri of their commitments. They were already legally married, the wedding venue was booked, and the deposit for the new home was paid. He begged her to weigh the consequences and forgive his single lapse. In that critical moment, a notification flashed on his phone. The colleague had sent him a photo of herself in sexy lingerie. Yumi-ri spotted his shift in behavior and demanded to see the phone. A struggle ensued. In a desperate attempt to destroy the evidence, he threw the phone to the ground and stomped on it. When Yumi-ri reached down to pick it up, he accidentally stepped on her hand. In that crushing instant, Yumi-ri felt utter disillusionment. Over their 5 years together, Kim Woo-ju had rarely shown genuine care. She realized their marriage was destined for divorce and it was better to cut their losses now. Her parting shot was a cup of coffee thrown in Kim Woo-ju's face. A month later, they filed for divorce. To spare her mother worry, Yumi-ri asked Kim Woo-ju to agree on a cover story. The wedding was merely postponed due to his busy schedule, and they would gradually reveal the truth later. Kim Woo-ju, heartlessly focused on his new girlfriend, handed Yumi-ri the divorce papers, telling her to submit them when the time came. Yumi-ri quietly cancelled the wedding venue, honeymoon, and dress rental. Overwhelmed by sorrow, she sought solace by playing baseball alone, vowing to move on and live well. On the very day she was due to submit the divorce papers, the police arrived. Yumi-ri discovered her bridal suite was caught in a massive rental scam. An employee of the management company had impersonated the landlord, who was abroad, to sign the lease with her. The police advised her to vacate immediately to avoid a trespassing lawsuit. Desperate, Yumi-ri called Kim Woo-ju, whose uncle worked at the prosecutor's office, hoping he could help recover her 300 million won. However, his new girlfriend was openly annoyed by the call. Kim Woo-ju, colder than ever, told Yumi-ri that contacting a former partner was impolite and heartlessly instructed her to handle her own problems. A helpless Yumi-ri drowned her sorrows in alcohol. Staggering home, she bumped into a parked car. The man who emerged offered to take her to the hospital. Yumi-ri, waving him off, insisted she was fine. He saved his number in her phone, advising her to call for medical expense reimbursement. Seeing the name Kim Woo-ju saved on her phone, she mistook him for her fiancé, grabbed him, and vented her entire fury. The bewildered man, Kim Woo-ju, the director, quickly retreated to his car. Yumi-ri followed, refusing to leave. After a heated argument, he managed to get her out, only for Yumi-ri to jump onto his back, cover his eyes, and curse. Struggling to dislodge her, Kim Woo-ju, the director, stumbled, and Yumi-ri lost her balance, landing painfully on a cactus full of sharp spines. Crying in pain, Yumi-ri detailed her betrayal and begged for Kim Woo-ju, the director's help. He called his doctor friend, Yoon Jin-kyung, for treatment and then drove her home, forcing her to kneel on the passenger seat due to her injury, which caused her motion sickness. He stopped the car on a bridge for air. Watching the sun rise, Yumi-ri reflected that despite her troubles, the sun would always rise, a sign there was hope for a path forward. Parting ways, Kim Woo-ju, the director, advised her to get a hospital checkup. Yumi-ri apologized and offered to transfer money, but he drove off without a word. Back home, Yumi-ri, seeking sleep, was awakened by a call from the beautiful department store, congratulating her on winning a prize. She initially dismissed it as a scam but then remembered a lottery ticket a mascot had given her when she picked up her ring, a chance to win a 5 billion won villa. The department store had rigged the draw for the mayor's wife's nephew. The representative, however, mistakenly announced the actual winner, Yumi-ri. Yumi-ri couldn't believe her luck. The catch: the winner had to be a newlywed couple without a home and present a marriage certificate. Fortunately, she hadn't submitted her divorce papers. The secretary confirmed Yumi-ri and Kim Woo-ju, who is now her ex-fiancé, met the criteria as newlyweds of 5 months without their own home. However, learning the husband couldn't attend the award ceremony, the representative, desperate to disqualify her, quickly added a rule: both spouses must attend the ceremony together, or the prize would be forfeited for fraud. Yumi-ri, unwilling to lose the opportunity, called her fiancé for help, but Kim Woo-ju, the fiancé, annoyed, blocked her. Brainstorming, Yumi-ri suddenly received a message from Kim Woo-ju, the director, asking if she'd checked her arm. Realizing he shared the same Korean name and resembled her fiancé, Yumi-ri saw her solution. She tracked down Kim Woo-ju, the director, confirmed he was unmarried, and asked him to pretend to be her husband for one day at the department store. He mistook her for a fraudster trying to use a fake marriage to scam other men. He angrily warned her to drop the idea and even threatened to watch the department store over the weekend, vowing to call the police if he spotted any fraudulent activity. After rejecting Yumi-ri, Kim Woo-ju, the director, visited his friend Yoon Jin-kyung at the hospital, thanking her for tending to his grandmother while he was abroad. Yoon Jin-kyung, who had feelings for him, hinted she'd been like a potential granddaughter-in-law over the years, but Kim Woo-ju, the director, was oblivious. The conversation shifted to his start date at the company. Kim Woo-ju's grandmother owns Korea's largest dessert company. After his parents died, his aunt's family raised him. Frustrated by her nephew's lack of progress as marketing director, the grandmother replaced him with Kim Woo-ju, the director, insisting her nephew start from scratch. Kim Woo-ju, the director, was unaware his appointment had already ignited a controversy within the company. At that moment, a little girl fell and cried. Kim Woo-ju, comforting her, was reminded of a long-ago memory. A strange little girl who gave him a talking teddy bear after the car accident that killed his parents. He cherished the memory but never knew her name. The next day, Kim Woo-ju officially started his new role. At his first group meeting, his deputy presented a new gift box launch. The chairwoman, his grandmother, loved the packaging. However, his cousin pointed out a major problem: a copyright issue. 6 months earlier, the cousin, as group leader, had selected the cheaper one-time authorization for the design. The deputy had forgotten to renew the contract. The cousin, who knew the risk, had intentionally waited for Kim Woo-ju's meeting to bring it up and embarrass him. Kim Woo-ju promised to contact the design company immediately. The design company's representative demanded a 50 million won copyright fee, 10 times the original amount. Kim Woo-ju, the director, had no idea the representative was Yumi-ri, who had just received an anonymous phone call suggesting she raised the price as the dessert company intended to buy out the rights. Unwilling to be exploited, Kim Woo-ju considered changing the design, but his female staff reported 150 million won in initial production costs would be wasted. He reluctantly agreed to negotiate and instructed his staff to arrange a meeting. Meanwhile, Yumi-ri, having not heard back, received a reminder from the beautiful department store: confirm her husband's attendance today or forfeit the prize. Desperate, she went to her fiancé's house, hoping his mother could help contact him. His mother and sister, looking down on Yumi-ri's humble background, ridiculed her as unworthy of their son. Faced with their disdain, Yumi-ri abandoned the request, warned them to pretend not to know her if they met. Yumi-ri provoked her fiancé's mother when she asked if she is striking first, letting Kim Woo-ju's mom know she has finally seen where Kim Woo-ju copied his bad character from, and out of anger, she raised her hand to slap Yumi-ri, but she held her hand on the air, threatening to publish posters, exposing that her husband was fired for sexually harassing his TA, and mocked her fiancé as a mama's boy before leaving with firm steps. Just as she reached the door, an employee called. The company manager invited her to discuss the copyright specifics. Kim Woo-ju, the director, arrived with the contract, never expecting the representative to be Yumi-ri. Yumi-ri was equally shocked to find the company manager was Kim Woo-ju, the director. Their roles were now reversed. Yumi-ri offered to sign the contract at the original price if Kim Woo-ju, the director, agreed to pretend to be her husband. Kim Woo-ju, still suspicious of fraud, was reluctant. Yumi-ri, with no other choice, explained the situation about the prize and pleaded her case, emphasizing her need for the house as a soon-to-be divorced woman. Realizing her sincerity, and recalling his cousin's provocation, Kim Woo-ju, the director, agreed to help. Yumi-ri quickly signed the contract, resolving his immediate problem. On the day of the award ceremony, Yumi-ri had Kim Woo-ju wear a wedding ring and glasses to better resemble her fiancé. When the staff checked their IDs, Kim Woo-ju, the director, claimed to have left his in the car but confidently recited his fiancé's ID number and registered marriage date. After completing the verification, Yu Mi-ri successfully claimed the prize. During the photo shoot with the department store representative, aware the photos would be in the news, Kim Woo-ju, the director, wore a mask and hat, and Yu Mi-ri used flowers to cover her face. Afterward, Baek Sang-hyun from the department store showed them the prize villa. Yu Mi-ri, pleased with the house and garden, falsely stated it was too far from their workplaces and they wanted to sell it. Baek Sang-hyun showed them the property guidelines. They had to live in the house for 3 months before ownership could be transferred. The house remained department store property, and if they divorced within 3 months, the prize would be forfeited. He also revealed he lived opposite the villa and seeing them daily would be his inspection method. Kim Woo-ju, the director, was aghast at the mess his simple act of kindness had created. Refusing to continue the charade, he walked outside. Feeling he'd been too harsh, he called Yu Mi-ri to apologize. Just as she answered, his aunt and cousin unexpectedly appeared. He quickly ended the call. They were visiting a nearby entrepreneur and were surprised to see him. Before he could explain, Baek Sang-hyun, out for a walk, approached to greet Kim Woo-ju, the director, and his wife. Caught off guard, and seeing Yu Mi-ri reapproaching, Kim Woo-ju, the director, urgently signaled for her to stay away. Tension built as everything is about to expose. Before Yu Mi-ri could even notice the presence of Baek Sang-hyun, it was already too late as all eyes was already on her. Wait, do you think Yu Mi-ri's secret has been exposed this early? Let me hear from you in the comments section. Subscribe to this channel and anticipate the next episode.